Infinity Ward has spent the last several years proving they are a remarkably stubborn studio, aggressively iterating on the exact same game they have been making since Modern Warfare 2019, which, for all of its flaws, remains the last truly great, culturally dominant Call of Duty. Since then, the studio's design philosophy has only become more rigid. I fully expected Modern Warfare 4 to be a continuation of this stubbornness, a doubling down on the polarizing mechanics that have fractured the player base. But what the beta actually delivered is somehow even worse than expected. It is a staggering monument to a studio that is fundamentally disconnected from its own audience. Nothing encapsulates this disconnect quite like the recent widely circulated clips of two separate Infinity Ward developers proudly sporting the IW clan tag, finishing a full multiplayer match with exactly 1 kill.
Pickle's in here putting up 1 kill. Yo, I'm not even trolling. The IW dev has 1 kill. The IW dev has 1 kill.
While it is entirely true that a developer does not need to be a top-tier professional player to design a good video game, the sheer magnitude of this skill gap is alarming. 2 separate developers getting only a single kill across an entire match is beyond egregious. It exposes a complete lack of awareness regarding how their core audience actually perceives, navigates, and experiences the game. When the people designing the maps, tuning the weapons, and implementing the matchmaking are playing at a level that borders on complete mechanical illiteracy, it is no wonder they spend 3 years building a product only to be shocked when the community vehemently rejects it. They are playing an entirely different game than the rest of us. This internal skill deficit explains one of the most punishing aspects of modern Call of Duty, the relentlessly strict skill-based matchmaking. Infinity Ward is designing systems specifically meant to protect their own lower skill playtesters, inadvertently creating a suffocating ecosystem for everyone else. I am a highly aggressive run and gun player. I don't play tactically, I don't hold angles, and I never play the objective. My philosophy is to sprint out into the open, rack up kills, and die. And because of this, the skill-based matchmaking doesn't bother me as much on a personal level. I've simply accepted that if you want to play a modern Call of Duty, you have to make peace with getting absolutely shitted on in half your matches. But for my friends who play the game normally, the skill-based matchmaking is a relentless, draining nightmare. After just 2 games of the Modern Warfare 4 beta, they're already looking for an excuse to hop off. The algorithm ensures that every gunfight is a hyper-sweaty coin toss where the outcome is almost entirely dependent on who shoots first. There is no room to breathe, no room to experiment, and ultimately no room to just have fun. Mechanically, Modern Warfare 4 is a game of jarring contradictions. On one hand, the movement is a highlight. It is incredibly fluid and lightning quick. While I deeply miss the wall bounce mechanics from Black Ops 7 and maintain the unpopular opinion that Advanced Warfare remains the gold standard for classic Call of Duty movement, Modern Warfare 4 feels generally good to navigate. You can traverse the environment with a satisfying sense of momentum. However, the moment you pull the trigger, that fluidity crashes into a brick wall of systematic inconsistency. The time to kill feels like a byproduct of DMZ. To make the analogy, it's the same feeling I had about the decline of gameplay from the Battlefield 2042 to Battlefield 6, due to its emphasis on the Battle Royale mode, which I got lambasted for in my review last year, but has slowly become the overall sentiment 1 year removed. But that's besides the point. When you're firing at an enemy, the time to kill feels agonizingly slow, requiring an unrealistic string of perfect upper torso or headshots to secure a kill. Yet when you're on the receiving end of gunfire, you melt instantly. The kill swaps in this beta are the worst the franchise has seen in years, a direct result of underlying netcode issues that simply cannot keep up with the pacing of the game. But the most glaring mechanical failure is the overtuned aim assist on consoles. It was made apparent how strong the aim assist is when my friends told me to hop on while I was getting my daily steps in on a treadmill. So I plugged in my controller while I was walking, and despite my divided attention and physical movement, I was effortlessly tracking targets and winning gunfights I had absolutely no right to win. The rotational aim assist is so incredibly potent that it reacts to enemy movement instantaneously, long before a human brain could even process the visual information and adjust their thumbsticks. Now on to the Gunsmith, a system that has bloated into complete irrelevance. Modern Warfare 4 bombards the player with an absurd number of weapon attachments, nearly all of which come with punishing hyper-specific downsides, in a desperate attempt to help the players navigate the spreadsheet of misery. Infinity Ward introduced the gunny AI. The AI is entirely useless. Instead of engaging with the convoluted system, the entire player base does what they always do. They open Twitter, search for the meta build, and equip the exact attachments the influencers tell them to, and never look at the Gunsmith again. When you strip away all the convoluted menus and look away at the actual presentation, Modern Warfare 4 desperately wants to be perceived as a grounded tactical military simulator. In terms of graphical fidelity, it's certainly a massive step up from Black Ops 7, which frankly looked like a mobile game. Despite the community complaints about the harsh shadows, the graphics are perfectly adequate. But it is a damning indictment of the franchise that Modern Warfare 2019, a game that released 7 years ago, still possesses the best graphics and most cohesive art direction in the entire series. If you want to see a game that actually achieves this grounded tactical prestige, you have to look at Battlefield 6. Despite my gripes with Battlefield's lackluster post-launch support and its failure to improve on its stellar alpha and beta phases, DICE actually kept their promise. Battlefield 6 takes itself seriously. When I bring my friends over from Call of Duty to play it, their immediate reaction is, wow, This feels like a real war. EA and DICE learned their harsh lessons from Battlefield 5 in 2042, and it paid off by restoring the franchise's prestige. Modern Warfare 4, by comparison, feels like a superficial imitation of the tactical combat layered over a chaotic arcade shooter. The cracks in Modern Warfare 4's foundation become literal chasms when you look at the network performance. Infinity Ward made the baffling, borderline deceptive decision to remove the packet burst warning icon from the HUD. The game is plagued by constant micro-stutters. I have a friend who literally cannot open the game unless he connects his console to a mobile hotspot, boot the game, and then switch back to his home internet. While I appreciate the game finally shows which server you are connecting to, I've never experienced the sheer volume of network instability in any previous Call of Duty title. But when you finally do get into a stable match, you are greeted by a map design that is adequate as best. These beta maps are supposed to be the showcase, the best of the best to hook potential buyers. Instead, we're given Transit 213, a 24/7 brain rot meat grinder that serves as this year's mandatory shipment equivalent. Standard modes like Team Deathmatch, capped at a paltry 75 points, and Kill Confirmed, where tags barely reward any score, and far too quickly to establish any rhythm. Domination is the only traditional mode that functions properly. The only genuine bright spot is Kill Block, a chaotic party mode where the map switches every 2 rounds. The brief reprieve between deaths, where you're forced to spectate your teammates, adds a layer of social investment that breaks up the monotonous kill-die loop of the standard modes. And for the single-player content, I honestly forgot the Entrenched campaign mission was even included in the beta. The campaigns have been suffering a catastrophic decline since Modern Warfare 2019, plagued by outsourcing, a total lack of cohesive creative vision, and a shift in internal priorities. The single-player experience has become the lowest possible priority for Activision. There's simply no point in even booting it up. Every year, the Call of Duty cycle repeats itself. The community collectively cries out for change, begging for new mechanics, new pacing, and new ideas. Yet there is a fascinating psychological dissonance at play. When developers actually introduce change, the player base violently rejects it. The core audience doesn't want a new game. They want the exact same dopamine loop they experienced a decade ago, just with a fresh coat of paint. However, the rejection of Modern Warfare 4 feels fundamentally different than the usual cyclical complaining. This is absolute terminal exhaustion. The franchise has finally bled its community dry. You can track the exact trajectory of this death spiral through my own Xbox friends list. When Black Ops 6 launched, it was a cultural event. Every time I checked my dashboard, everyone was online. I was playing late into the night with people I hadn't spoken to in years. It was a massive, unified revival. Then Black Ops 7 came out, and the magic faded fast. Half of those players dropped off within the first month, and by month 2, I had quit playing entirely and never went back. Now the Modern Warfare 4 beta is live, and the silence is deafening. Literally no one outside my immediate dedicated friend group even bothered to download it, and even among that dedicated group, the exhausting skill-based matchmaking and inconsistent gunplay pushes them offline after just 2 matches. I've reached max rank by the end of the first day of the beta, and it took me until Sunday to max out the M4. I have seen everything this game has to offer, and my conclusion is final. I am not planning to buy Modern Warfare 4. Infinity Ward is far too gone, blinded by their own echo chamber and incapable of fixing the fundamental divides between their design philosophy and their audience's reality. For the first time in years, a Call of Duty release year will pass me by. The franchise has finally irrevocably lost me.